Somewhere I Belong, Chapter 8, Part 2. I know how you feel, but trust me, it'll all pay off in the end, he said as the three got to the boutique. Isaac made his way upstairs and knocked on the door. Come in, Rarity said in a charming voice. Isaac poked his head in to see Rarity sitting at her sewing table. Ah, Isaac, just the human I wanted to see. Your sister said you needed a hand with something. Yes, I need you to help me go jewel hunting. What? I ran out of jewels for an outfit I'm working on, and I need someone to help me dig up more, she said as she got to her feet. Couldn't you get Spike to help you? Unfortunately, no. He's helping Twilight with a massive report for the princess, she said as she rolled her eyes. If you're too busy, then... I don't mind. Do you have a shovel or a pickaxe? We can borrow one from Applejack, so we'll have to stop there. No problem. Are they going to help? He asked as he looked at the fillies. Yes, is that a problem? No, just curious, he said as the group left the boutique. As they made their way past the library, Isaac stopped for a moment. Hang on, I need to grab something from the library, he said as he walked over to the door. He gave it a hard knock. The door opened to reveal the purple dragon with a worried look on his face. Hey Spike, mind if I come in? Sorry Isaac, Twilight is in the middle of a serious study session, he said in a nervous voice. I just need to grab something. I'll be in and out in no time, he said as he started to step inside, only to be blocked by the dragon. Trust me, Isaac, you don't want to mess with Twi when she's in the zone. Last time that happened, she accidentally turned me into a cactus. Isaac immediately stepped back and gulped. I'll take your word for it. Can you grab my knife for me? It's on the nightstand in my room. Spike nodded and shut the door. Isaac peeked through the window to see movement from several different figures. It was too dark to make out any specific details, but he swore he saw the silhouette of a Pegasus. He heard the door open and he quickly got back in front of the door. Here you go. What do you need it for? Rarity, Sweetie Belle, Scootaloo, Applebloom, and I are going jewel hunting. Why do you need that thing? He asked as he pointed to the weapon. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, he said as he clipped the weapon onto his pants. Spike shrugged and closed the door as Isaac walked back towards the group. It's rude to keep a lady waiting, Isaac, Rarity teased. Relax, I just need to grab my knife, he said with a smile. As the group walked towards the farm, Isaac noticed that the orange filly had a folded-up scooter attached to her back. Can you do any tricks on that scooter? Yeah, but it gets boring, she said with a sigh. Why? I've already mastered this thing, and I still don't have a cutie mark. Can I see it? I may be able to help you with that. The group looked at him in surprise. Scootaloo shrugged and handed him the object. Isaac looked it over and noticed that its base was made out of wood. The wheels itself were plastic, and the handlebars were connected by 2 bolts. What are you thinking of? I've got an idea. I'll show you when we get to Sweet Apple Acres, he said as he handed the scooter back to the orange Pegasus. The party soon found themselves in front of the barn where the orange mare was tying up a bale of hay. She quickly pulled her hat down to hide her blushing cheeks from the human. Hey, AJ. Rarity said you guys have a pickaxe, some shovels, and a cart we could borrow. Yeah, they're over there. Just bring 'em back when you're done, she said as she tried to calm her fast-beating heart. The orange mare pointed to the far corner. Isaac saw 4 shovels and a pickaxe leaning against a 2-wheeled cart with a pole slid horizontally in front of it. Thanks. Mind if I use your workbench for a quick second? Go right ahead. I gotta get back to work, she said as she quickly walked out of the barn. Isaac walked over to the workbench and laid the scooter down unfolded. He took a nearby screwdriver and removed the handlebars from the base. You broke it, Scootaloo yelled. I modified it into a skateboard, he said as he put the object on the ground in front of him. How am I supposed to move it? Isaac rolled his eyes and he put his right foot on the board and pushed with his left. He skated out of the barn and back inside. Like that, he said as he handed her the board. The filly looked at him in amazement as she took the board. Awesome! What's this thing called again? A skateboard. If you want to turn it back into a scooter, then just ask, he said as he picked up 4 shovels and a pickaxe. He put them in the cart and pulled the carrier out of the barn. The 3 fillies ran ahead, with Scootaloo testing out her modified machine. Rarity walked up next to him and smiled. How did you do that? I worked in a skate shop during my high school days. I got pretty good at modifying the equipment in there, he said with a grin. That was very sweet of you to help Scootaloo out like that. It was nothing. I figured she might enjoy something like that. I know I did when I was her age, he said with a shrug. The group walked in silence as they came across a flat dirt plain. This the place? Yes, give me a moment. she said as her horn and hands began to glow. She waved her hands in a horizontal motion and levitated a stick and began marking the dirt with X's. There we are. Isaac picked up the shovel and started to dig. When he got 10 inches down, he hit something hard. The human scraped the dirt away and saw a cluster of bright shining gems. Jackpot, he said as he lifted the bundle out of the ground. What do you use these for anyway? He asked as he started another hole. I make outfits and jewelry out of them. What do humans use them for? Same reason, except for diamonds. We sometimes use those to make tools, Isaac said as he lifted another pile out of the ground. Really? She said as she levitated the pile into the cart. Yeah, hang on a second. The human got out of the hole and pulled out his knife. The core of the blade is mixed with a diamond, hardest rock on earth, he said with a shrug. Why is the edge black? She asked as she took the knife from his hands. The edge is lined with obsidian, the sharpest rock in the world. The three fillies walked over to them with bundles of jewels. What's obsidian? Sweetie Belle asked. Obsidian is volcanic rock that's been hardened and melted down. Think of it as volcanic glass, he said as he put the knife back in its sheath. Where'd you get it? I made it when I visited Pompeii, a city notorious for its volcano and is loaded with the stuff. I was helping some miners move some rocks when I found a diamond cluster. I took it as payment and melted it down with some iron, fused it with a few obsidian shards, and presto, he said with a smile. I got one of the strongest knives ever made. Where'd you learn to make things like that? Scootaloo asked. I took a blacksmithing class and learned how to make weapons, armor, and all other things like that, he said as he picked up the shovel and started to dig. He soon hit a hard surface and scraped the dirt away. His eyes grew wide as he saw a massive gem. Rarity, you gotta see this. By the goddess, that's the biggest amethyst I've ever seen, she yelled as the three fillies trotted up next to her. Their jaws dropped as Isaac began to dig around it. It must be at least 3 feet long. Isaac grabbed the pickaxe and shoved the end underneath the space he had made. The three fillies hopped down with shovels in hand and helped the human rock the jewel from its place. Okay, girls, on 3. 1, 2, 3. He yelled as the 4 of them made the massive rock come loose. Hey, Rarity, can you lift this thing up with your magic? He asked as he and the 3 fillies began to pant. I'll try, she said as her horn flared and she raised her hands. Isaac felt the massive rock shift and rise from the hole. Rarity struggled to concentrate and dropped the rock just outside the hole. There, but I won't be able to get it back to town like this, she said as she panted and leaned against the gem. Isaac and the girls got out of the hole and walked over to the white mare. Good thing we got the cart then, he said as he walked over to the wagon. Can you handle that thing? I don't want you to strain your back, the white mare said in a nervous voice. Nah, humans are durable. I may need a hand getting him moving though, he said as he picked up the handle and started to push. The 3 fillies did the same on the rear end and eventually got the cart rolling. Isaac let out a sigh as he found a steady pace and walked back into town. As they found themselves surrounded by familiar buildings, Rarity walked up next to the human. Do the males in your world wear jewelry? Some do. I wear my watch and class ring if I'm going to meet with someone important, he said as he let out a breath. What type of gem is the ring? My birthstone, amethyst. Rarity blinked and looked back at the massive rock and then back to the human. Birthstone? She said in confusion. For every month, there's a gem that coincides with it. Emeralds are for May, amber is for August, amethyst is for February. Does it do anything? Scootaloo asked. Not really. Some believe that they'll bring good luck or something like that. It's mostly a guideline to figure out your zodiac. What's a zodiac? Applebloom asked as she joined the conversation. It's a star sign. Everybody is born under a different star sign where I'm from. Cool, so what's yours? Mine is a little tricky because I'm born on a cusp, he said as he wiped the sweat from his forehead. A what? It's when one sign ends and another begins, so I guess I have 2. What are they? Pisces and Aquarius. Think of the zodiac signs as a cutie mark. They help describe someone's personality, he said with a shrug. That's cool, Sweetie Belle said as they pulled beside the fancy boutique. Rarity levitated the large rock off the cart and into her house. She came back out with a smile on her face. I can't thank you enough, darling. It's no problem, he said as he cracked his back. Oh no, I wouldn't have been able to get that monster out of the ground without your help. I insist that... Idea! She said as she raced back into the boutique, leaving the human standing at the door. She returned with a nice white collared shirt and a pair of jet black pants. I was working on these for a client, and he canceled at the last minute. They're not fit to your size specifically, but it's close enough, she said with a warm smile. Thanks, Reddy, I appreciate it, he said as she put the clothes in a bag and handed them to the human. Isaac gave her a smile and put the bag in the back of the cart and started to head back towards the farm, with Apple Bloom riding in the back. Can I ask you something? She said as she looked at the human. Sure, what's up? Are you my sister's boyfriend? Isaac looked at the filly in surprise. No, what gave you that idea? She talks about you a lot. To who? That's the weird thing. She talks to herself, she said as she shrugged. So everyone does that. She just sounds weird when she does it, though, Apple Bloom said as she scratched her chin. The other night I heard her talking to herself and some loud moaning coming from her room. I listened closer and I swear I heard her say your name. I wanted to see if she was okay, but her door was locked. Isaac's face turned crimson at the image of the orange mare pleasuring herself to him, filled his mind. Hasn't she told you that eavesdropping is rude? Yeah, I know. She's just been acting weird is all. Do you know why?